Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We start off today's bulletin with Maharashtra Assembly crisis. Now, there's some bit of clarity that's come in right now because Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has won the trust vote in the State Assembly today, and Eknath Shinde camp received 164 votes and the opposition camp got 99. So there's some resolution to the political saga that we've been seeing over the last couple of days. Now, while Congress's Vijay Vadatiwar, Zishan Siddiqui and Dheeraj Deshmukh did not show up today, former Chief Minister Ashok Chavan reached after the vote. NCP's Sangram Jagtap was missing as well. Now, Samajwadi Party's Abu Azmi and Rais Sheikh and AIMIM's Shah Farooq Anwar also abstained from voting. Now, addressing the assembly soon after the vote, Mr. Shinde said that he was willing to become a martyr to save the Shiv Sena, but was disturbed by the way he was treated during the state election in 2019. Now, after the trust vote, Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis told the assembly that there will be no power struggle or rift between him and Mr. Shinde. A little earlier, a couple of days ago, in fact, Mr. Fadnavis had said that he won't be part of the government. Later, of course, that decision changed, and now he said that there will be no power struggle. Aditya Thackeray voted against the whip issued by the Shiv Sena chief whip Bharat Gogawale, appointed last night, and may face disqualification proceedings as well. In the meantime, the Uddhav Thackeray-led faction of the Shiv Sena today moved to the Supreme Court challenging the decision of the newly elected Maharashtra Assembly Speaker Rahul Narvekar to recognize the new party whip backed by the Chief Minister's camp. On 29th of June, if you remember, Mr. Thackeray had resigned after the Supreme Court rejected the Shiv Sena's plea against Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari's decision asking his government to face a floor test. Now, soon after Mr. Shinde won the trust vote today, he also said that Maharashtra would reduce the value-added tax or VAT on fuel, effectively bringing down the prices in the state, and that decision is likely to come in the next cabinet meeting. In the meantime, former Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister and NCP leader Ajit Pawar will be the new leader of the opposition in the State Assembly. Speaker Rahul Narvekar said that Ajit Pawar's name was proposed by NCP Legislative Party leader Jayant Patil and was approved by the Assembly as NCP emerged as the single largest opposition party in the 288-member House. Also in the news, a Mumbai court has issued a bailable warrant against Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut in connection with a defamation complaint filed by BJP leader Kirit Somaya's wife Medha. Now, she said that Sanjay Raut had made baseless allegations to defame her. The warrant was issued after the Sena leader failed to appear before the Magistrate's court. Last month, the court had issued summons against Raut, directing him to be present before it on the 4th of July. In the meantime, an update on what's going on in Manipur. The death toll because of the landslides that had taken place in Manipur's Noni district has risen to 42. Search operations have now been going on since the 2nd of July. Now, 27 of those dead are territorial army officials and 15 of them are civilians. Now, the Indian Army, Assam Rifles, Territorial Army and the State and National Disaster Response Forces personnel are conducting the search operation. There are reports talking about how bad weather is a huge problem, causing huge hindrance in the search operation. Moving on now, the president of Press Club of India, Umakant Lakhera, has said that a multi-pronged attack on the press is currently underway and a concerted effort is being made to portray the media as being dangerous to the society. Now, he added that the current era is the most dangerous one for journalism and journalists, and an emergency has not been declared, but all its features are visible. Now, Siddharth Varadarajan, the founding editor of The Wire, who is also present, said, and I quote, "In the future, the practice of resorting to a legal procedure is only likely to increase, as seen in the Alt News co-founder Mohammed Zubair's case," end quote. Now, Mr. Zubair was sent to 14-day judicial custody earlier as well. An update on the Sidhu Moosewala murder case. The Delhi Police Special Cell has arrested a 19-year-old man identified as Ankit Sirsa in connection with the murder of Congress leader and singer Sidhu Moosewala in Punjab. Now, the police has said that he was one of the shooters and was arrested along with his associate. Now, Sidhu Moosewala was killed on the 29th of May in Punjab's Mansa by assailants who waylaid the vehicle he was driving and opened fire, killing him on the spot. Also in the news, the court of the executive magistrate today ordered the release of Bhim Army chief Chandra Shekhar Azad. Now, he was arrested from a Jaipur hotel on the intervening night of the 1st of July and the 2nd of July. Now, he was arrested along with 21 others. The police claim that the preventive arrest was made since Section 144 was in force after Tailor Kanhaiyalal's murder in Udaipur. Now, in the meantime, rights activists have questioned the arrest, and they alleged that the arrest was illegal and due process was not followed. Moving on to business news right now, there's a ray of relief that's really coming for people, for consumers who eat out because the Central Consumer Protection Authority has now issued guidelines barring hotels and restaurants from levying service charge automatically or by default in food bills. Now, the CCPA has further said that no collection of service charge shall be done by any other name, or no hotel or restaurant shall force a consumer to pay service charge, and shall clearly inform that it's voluntary and optional and at the consumer's discretion. Now, no restriction on entry or provision of services also based on collection of service shall be charged or imposed on consumers. Consumers, of course, can now file complaints according to the guidelines that have been issued by CCPA. On to environment news now. The topic that everyone's talking about here in the state of Maharashtra and Mumbai is about the green lung of Mumbai, Aarey, which the government that has now been formed has brought it up again. They've said that Aarey will be the place where the proposed car shed for Metro 3 line will come up again. It was shifted out of Aarey by the previous government to another plot called Kanjurmarg, which was under litigation. But soon after taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis said that this project is going to now come back to Aarey. Climate activists, environmentalist citizens have been protesting against this proposed car shed at Aarey since 2014. There's been a fierce legal battle that's gone on for the last couple of years. And citizens and environmentalists now say that their fight is going to continue, that there is an interim stay by the Supreme Court that was provided for felling against trees, and that the project work cannot continue. But of course, we'll have to see how this pans out. They did take out a protest on Sunday, and they say that protests will continue in the city of Mumbai. On to news coming in from across the world right now. A 22-year-old man suspecting of killing 3 people at a shopping center in Denmark's capital, Copenhagen, has been charged with murder. Now, 3 others were critically wounded. According to the police, the suspect had mental health issues and that there is no indication of a terror motive. Now, he had a rifle and a knife, and his shooting was random, according to the police. And they said, and I quote, it was not motivated by gender or anything else, end quote. An update on what's going on in Sri Lanka. Remember, it's battling its worst ever economic crisis since independence. Sri Lanka's energy minister has issued a warning of the country's fuel stocks. The minister has said that the nation only had enough petrol left for less than a day under regular demand, and the next petrol shipment was not due for more than 2 weeks. In fact, last week, Sri Lanka had suspended sales of petrol and diesel for non-essential vehicles as it struggles to pay for imports like fuel, food and medicines as well. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.